Incremental routines. So in this video, we are going to discuss about the claim in Supermemo that they say that you can read thousands of articles at once or at the same time. So you may think that, hey, that's not possible, right? So is this an overhyped marketing or is a misunderstanding of the term reading at the same time? So let's cover that. You have the skeptic viewpoint that, oh my god, it's like you cannot watch 1000 movies at the same time. Same for reading, right? So it's a perfectly logical conclusion because at the same time doesn't mean that you keep an eye on 1000 things at the same time. No, it's English grammar. Of course, this is not possible. So then what do we mean at the same time? It comes from a misunderstanding. Reading as an act versus reading as a process. There are the two ways you can see or understand the action of reading. As an act is the physical act of focusing and processing a text at a specific moment. And as a process is the entire journey of learning from a text, from a first look to long-term memory. Let's say that I'm reading fiction, The Lord of the Rings, let's say. But I only do it at night for 20 minutes every night, right? Then I can say I'm reading The Lord of the Rings. But I'm not reading this constantly during the day, at all times. It's just I'm checking that regularly. The same that I could say that I watch football or basketball on TV. Yeah, I watch games time to time when they are scheduled, but not constantly, right? Okay. If that doesn't help, that's another analogy. Imagine you're a chef cooking multiple dishes. Then they can only chop vegetables from a dish at a time. Oh, now only carrots for the salad. Now only mushrooms for the side dish and all of this, right? That will be the same as reading as the act, and the process would be that you have many dishes cooking on the stove simultaneously, which is a thing. You can have some proteins, meat here and there, and while you cut the vegetables, but the vegetables can be shared across dishes and recipes, not just one by one, if this makes sense. Now let's dig further into the act of reading, the laser focus. So what I'm doing now, well, more or less, I'm not actually reading the screen per se, but most of what I will do is pay attention. Let's be clear, you cannot perform multiple acts of reading at the same time. Gotcha. Which is true. If I'm reading this, I cannot read another thing at the same time. I could perhaps interleave, boom, boom, but I cannot do it. In incremental reading, you are always focused on a single piece of text at the same given moment. That's why, yes, you can read 1000 articles at once, but as a process. You can only do one at a time, obviously. So you're never going to try to read sentences from different articles simultaneously. It will all make sense. That will be a recipe for chaos, exactly. What about the other one? The process of reading thousands in the queue. Tens of thousands even, if you will. Then, if we see the reading as a process, then this claim makes sense. While you only act on one article at a time, you can have thousands in the process of being read. If we recover the book of The Lord of the Rings, perhaps I can have several books at the same time. One about romance, one about police, and different genres, right? And perhaps I'm interleaving those time to time. So I'm reading 3 books, more or less, right? That doesn't mean I'm reading 3 books at the same time, like line by line. No, obviously, that will be an act. Okay. So a student might read small excerpts from 50 different articles in one single day, but not on their entirety, only what it needs to get, right? They could process a few thousand articles out a month if this repeats at least 5 days a week. And let's pretend they take the weekend off, right? So hundreds of thousands of articles are kept in the process indefinitely. What happens is that this is never scheduled, so you forget what you did. Oh yeah, that was interesting in a tweet, and I left the tab open in my browser. Oh yeah, I will have several hundreds, let's say, but eventually I will close them, or I will update the browser and I will lose this, whatever, right? So eventually I will lose track. In incremental reading, you don't. That's why you generally know, for instance, in my case, I have 22,666 articles or pieces of articles to be shown today. So what's the secret ingredient? Spaced repetition. Exactly. So just chopping up articles arbitrarily, randomly, it will be ineffective. The skeptic is right about that. But in Supermemo, yes, if you really want, you can have this flow, even though it's not designed for this flow. What you do is a spaced repetition. Once you have decided what to remember, you just have exposure, the minimum exposure to keep this in long-term memory. I'm not going to expand on that because this is covered in other videos. So you will have the algorithm, Supermemo, or Anki if you don't know still Anki. If you don't know Supermemo, or you watch this in YouTube, but for the course, it will only be Supermemo. So this is going to be presented just before you forget it, because this is strengthen the memory. It's even better because has like what's called the spacing effect. It's even better if you do it preemptively more often. So we have a new definition of reading. You can read so can you read thousands of articles at the same time? As an act, no. Obviously no. We are humans. But according to English grammar, at the same time, doesn't have to be constantly, like during nights or some time of the day. So it's a process, absolutely. You can read as many as you want. In my case, it's in the tens of thousands in 5 years already. So, therefore, it's an accurate description, actively managing waving thousands of threads of knowledge into your long-term memory, simultaneously, or should we say, concurrently. It's not magic, it's just a new method, a new paradigm that is non-linear. You start a lot of sources, but you're never going to finish any of those. Or just a few. Hope this makes sense. So now I hope you understood the difference that yes, you can read thousands of articles at once, in the sense that you haven't finished them, and you read something in parallel. That's all for now. See you incrementally.